Well, the chase for 300 begins today. Welcome to our new video series. You know we're all about some video series. We've got our tillage implements moved over here to my dad's farm at Frog Jump. This is the old Joyce home place where it all began. Well, I mean, it ain't the original Joyce place, but it's the place where the original Walton Joyce lived. So we're gonna ride over here to the tractors. We're gonna tell you what we're doing. We're gonna show you what we're doing. We're calling this video series the Chase for 300. I'll show you what we're doing, why we're doing it, and our thinking behind the process. And we're going to document this field all the way through harvest. And hopefully come harvest, we're going to shell some 300 bushel corn. Eric's wanting a 300 bushel average. I just, a number I got in my head is 235. I don't know why that number popped in my head, but that's what I'd like to see. This whole 75 acre block average is 235. But have y'all ever heard that saying? Shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. That's kind of our thinking here. So we're gonna give it our best. We're not really supposed to be spending much more money than what we would in our typical row crop operation to make these yields. But we're out here ripping it, and there's a reason we're ripping it. We're trying to get rid of some of these things like these sprayer tracks. Right here's a sprayer track. Right here's a sprayer track. Now let's get over here. Let's get over here, and I mean, that's a little better, but I mean, that old, you see how tight that old ground is? And it really needs to be a little drier to be ripping. But we're into May now and getting up kind of against a time winter, so we're working on that. And part of this ripping is to get air down into the soil and create a channel for roots to grow down deeper than what they've been. See if I can dig up a chunk here and show you some of the things we're looking at. The old ground smearing and the roots is kind of decaying, so it makes it harder. We had a better example over there at the house. Here it is, right there. Alright. Maybe the camera will pick it up. Alright. You see that hard layer right there? I can run my finger in where it's shearing off. Watch this. I'm gonna flip this up and it's gonna shear off on an even plane there. You got roots. You got roots. Then they stop. Y'all see any roots down there in that? Which I know I'm smearing it. But roots, and they stop. Well, we know, look here, still breaking it off on an even plane, even though we ain't got the shovel, breaking it off on a plane. So that's why we're over here deep ripping. Well, I wouldn't say we're deep ripping, but we're trying to get through that pan. We're plowing through that hard area, trying to create a channel for roots to grow through. We're going to work it up to a super smooth seed bed. These are, you know, these are 21's corn stalks, and they're still laying up here on top of the ground. So we're going to work this residue in, stir it up, and start breaking that stuff down. We kind of been waiting a little later in the year to spray our burn down the past couple of years, but we're really going to transition to an earlier burn down. I like what it does. The soil warms up faster. The soil dries up faster. But here's where we run the ripper. As you can tell where it's busting through there. We're running two types of rippers, a V ripper that you see there on the 4650, and we've got a inline pasture ripper that doesn't move as much soil, but I mean you can tell how much looser that soil is right there. And I know some of you guys have already been watching our videos and seen we've been doing this on other acres besides the test plot. You can tell right there how much we run the truck across where we rip. Of course, we'll rip this back out. They need to get over here with my fertilizer and get it sprayed where I can rip them fertilizer truck tracks out. So I'm gonna check the oil in my 4650 here, and if it's good to go, we're gonna crank her up and let them be warming up, and we're gonna finish ripping. We've ripped about 30 acres. We've got about 45 more to go. I will say one thing for this system. Don't expect it to come easy, because it ain't gonna come easy, is it, Robert? No. It's a lot of work. We're going all out over here, but we've ripped several acres this year, more than we ever have. But that's part of the reason we're coming on over here and doing it, because we have liked the results we've seen. Would it be a lot easier to come over here and no-till this? Yeah. Would it be a lot easier to come over here and take a scratcher do-all and scratch this up and plant it? Yes. Do I think we would have as good results? No. I promise I'll quit talking and get to the actual show the tractors running and ripping here in a minute, but I tell you what opened my eyes to the whole deal though was, well, actually it was two things. We've got a tool called the Phoenix Hair, and I'll include a clip of it here. But we run it over some ground twice, and it made just a beautiful seed bed, which I call it tickle tillage, but we gave it 24 hours to dry. Well, we come back and was planting, and dust was just fogging behind the planter. It looked absolutely beautiful up there in the cab. And then when we got out, I got out of the tractor and got to digging. We was smearing the sidewall of the trench. We was packing that seed in there in a cold, wet trench. We had a sidewall on the seed trench. And when you got a sidewall on that seed trench, them roots of that corn plant is just confined up and down that seed trench. Well, we are planting corn in 30-inch rows. So you're basically limiting yourself to 3 or 4 inches of your soil when you confine them roots to that seed trench. And when you're destroying that side trench, the side of that seed trench, what you're doing is you're giving that corn plant a pathway for them roots to go out and explore more soil. Or that's the way it works in my mind. That's my thinking. That was the first thing. The second thing was we had some ground that we run the low disturbance ripper on once. Went over and took the disc, disted it down, and then we ran the duo. And we went over and planted that ground. I left that farm, same seed, same starter fertilizer program, same everything, and went to the next farm. Well, we go to looking at our emergence, and we go over to that worked up field, and that corn in the worked up ground is at the 2-leaf stage. We go over to the no-till ground, and it's just barely spiking through the ground. Now you got 2 leaves versus just barely spiking the ground. That's like an aha moment. That's pretty eye-opening. It's just something about getting some iron in that soil and warming it up that I think made all the difference in the world. I'm not sure we want to run the disc and to do all over every acre of corn ground. I'm on the search for some kind of implement. I want some kind of implement that's going to work at about 2.5 to 3 inches deep to give us to level up behind the ripper and give us a good, nice, consistent seed bed. And I'd like for it to leave a little residue on the top, just enough some residue just to provide some ground cover that my row cleaners can sweep out of the way, and we'll have a nice bare seed trench that'll warm up a good density soil that roots can go out and explore. So I'm on the search for a tillage implement like that. I don't know what I'll end up on, but I'm really studying on it. Which now, I say that, but you know, there's gonna have to be a dramatic increase on yields before I go out and start spending all that money on a piece of tillage equipment. That's just Dylan thinking out loud. Try to shield the mic where you don't get a bunch of wind noise, guys, but right here is a field road, and that's where we bring the semi-truck in and out harvesting corn and crop. So let's see what it does when Robert hits it here. His ground, I think, is getting harder as he gets further this way. Even not close. I guarantee you right there is where the buggy's at, because we parked that truck on this field road, and I remember it last fall we set the buggy, you know, you run the buggy up beside the truck and fill the truck, and I guarantee you where he hit that hard spot. I know, y'all gonna say I need a 4-wheel drive truck. Well, guess what? We're getting the job done, never paid for, unless y'all want to buy me one, we're not getting it. Well, it don't help it. Hell, that's part of it. He's thinking it's a China. Whenever you want that good shot, you get a cloud. I got the sun on my back. The sun would be shining on on the tractor looking all good. And I get the plows. I'm gonna help him set his ripper depth there. He's a lot of it's just that dang, he's dragging the shanks that the shanks bolt to through the ground, and that's part of his trouble there. I wanted to get some wings welded on them shanks. I was gonna make me about a 6-inch wing to go on them shanks to help lift that sole up a little more, and just never got it done. It seems like we've been running behind all spring. We wasn't doing all this, we'd probably already be done planting corn if we was doing it the old way. Looks a lot better. You see how he's keeping a consistent depth there. I mean, when you hit them hard spots, it's gonna spin out on you, but he's got it now. He ain't pulling them main shanks through the ground. So old tractors, I knew something was up from last night because he was pulling it really well last night. I don't know if something got bumped up there in the cab or what. It's good to have another set of eyes looking out for you. So lazy or smart? I ripped up an old tire. Instead of getting off and toting it, I took the ripper shank and picked it up. Now we're gonna take it down there. Oh, dropped it. We're gonna pick it back up and we're gonna shove it in the fence row and pretend we never saw it. This ripper is about as good about digging up ancient history as my wife is. We got water lines, we got PVC pipe. This is where the old house lot was. I knew it was going to be bad. We got some concrete blocks. Got a little bit of it all. Running them variable pressure tires there. Run the ripper, they said. It'll be fun, they said. High yields, they said. It better be high yields. This sun gun just ain't got no quit in it. There's some more treasures that drug up. But hey, this old house lot was gonna have to be cleaned up sooner or later. Like I said, that ripper's a lot like my wife. It's good about bringing up ancient history. Now, are y'all gonna help me move that rock, or y'all just gonna stand there? I know which one you're gonna do. Well, at least y'all can watch. That wasn't that bad. Could have been more than 100 pounds. I know one thing. I'm about ready to get in that white Chevrolet pickup truck. Go find something to drink besides some water. I might run this a little while and then make a shimmy to the store. I don't think there's any doubting where the old barn was. there's a spring off something. Some steel off something. Old water hose that y'all can't see. I tell you what, Chevrolet doing some good things on these trucks. Like them LED beds, lights in the bed, and them LED lights up there, and them LED lights on them mirrors. It looks like it would blind you, but when you backing up to a trailer or backing into like a camping spot, they pretty dang handy. It's today I woke up at 3:30 this morning. Started at like 4:30. I can't remember. I don't know. I think I done put in 2 days of work in 1 day. That's good arm strength building there. Alright, let's see what other treasures we can find. You know, I don't know why we can't find a buried chest of treasure, or where somebody robbed a stagecoach in the 1800s and buried a bunch of gold out here. Don't know why we can't find something like that. Instead we get old barn pilings and buggy springs.